Let's get my ticker. There we go. Game's almost over, 49-3 as of right now. But anyway, there you go. Week 1 for UGA and Oregon is just about over. We have, I think, less than 9 minutes left as of right now. In the game, Georgia's up 49-3. Oregon does not get the first down on a 3rd down and 5. Doesn't matter. Stetson Bennett balled out today. How about Georgia's offense, specifically with the passing offense? I mean, Stetson Bennett went 25 of 31. He had 368 yards passing. He had 2 touchdown passes. He had 1 touchdown run on that Statue of Liberty play, which was kind of cool to see. Rushing wise, Georgia really didn't run the ball that much. Now there's still another probably 1 or 2 more possessions Georgia has to go. But as of right now, 23 carries, 129 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's a little bit different from Georgia's usual play calling, which Georgia does like to run the ball a little bit more. But out of the 60 plays, 37 of them were passes, 23 of them were rushes. So Georgia really didn't really run the ball much in the first half. I think Georgia had like 70-ish yards. I think it was actually 54 yards rushing in the first half. Towards the 3rd quarter into the 4th quarter, Georgia started running the ball more. But how about Georgia's efficiency on 3rd downs as well in this game? Started 9 of 9, and the first team, they went 8 of 8 on 3rd downs. 8 of 8. That's as good as it gets. I mean, you can't ask for anything more from your offense. The offensive line, especially, dominated this game. The pass plays, a lot of misdirections, a lot of these slip screens. I love it, man. Todd Monken really elevated Georgia's pass offense and offense as a whole, even going back to last year. But specifically in this game, how Georgia had how many pass plays to the running backs, slot wide receivers, and tight ends? Majority of Georgia's passing plays were by slot wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. Heck, Kenny McIntosh had 9 catches in this game for 117 yards. He only had 5 carries for 18 yards. He did have a touchdown. I think it was back in the 1st quarter. But Lad McConkey had a touchdown run on that end around. He scored first for the Dogs. He also had 5 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. Brock Bowers didn't really do much. I mean, he blocked really well today. But in the pass game, just 2 catches for 38 yards. Again, just 2. But Georgia really spread out the ball today. Marcus Rosemy had a catch. DeAndre Washington had 1 drop, but he had a catch for 33 yards. I mean, he's hard to bring down. I think he had 4 broken tackles. But yeah, man, the offense played outstanding. I honestly didn't expect this good of a game from the offense week 1 against Oregon. I thought Oregon's defense would be very good this year. I thought they were looking at a top 20 defense. I predicted Oregon actually covering the 17.5, and they weren't even close to that. I think it was 17.5, or the game opened up around 17, 18. I think some people got it for 16. I don't know why you would ever bet for 16, but I thought Oregon would cover that. I really respected Oregon. I thought Oregon is a very good team. But like I said, offensive line played really good. Stetson Bennett played really good. Even Carson Beck came in. He threw a really nice pass. It looks like Oregon is actually driving. I hope they don't score a touchdown. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But talking about the defense, first half, Georgia was giving up a lot of yards. Heck, Georgia gave up 114 yards rushing so far in this game. 4.5 yards per carry. That's not what Georgia usually does. I think a lot of people were expecting a drop off. Not me. I mean, production-wise, giving up 10 points per game is hard to repeat, but Georgia's been probably the most consistent defensive team since 2017, top 5 every single season. So, I mean, Georgia just reloads. But yeah, Oregon was able to move the ball somewhat in the first half. Couldn't really do much with it. Bo Nix threw 2 terrible interceptions. Well, no, one was a terrible interception. The one to Chris Smith, that was a terrible read. Read inside. I don't know where he was throwing the ball, but that was a terrible pass. The one play, true freshman Malachi Starks made an outstanding play on the ball. That looked like a Derek Stingley play. But yeah, heck, he had a couple batted balls. I don't think Georgia got any sacks this game. It's really hard to sack Bo Nix. I'm not going to lie. I think Georgia sacked him twice last year. I know Trayvon Walker did it in the past and when Bo Nix was a true freshman, went on the road at Auburn. And just to seal the game, Trayvon Walker got that huge sack. But Bo Nix is about to fall to 0-4 against UGA all time. I think he actually made history being the only quarterback to ever go 0-4 against UGA. I'm pretty sure. If there's another one, someone tell me. But I'm pretty sure he's the first quarterback to ever go 0-4 against UGA. And he did it transferring to Oregon, from Auburn to Oregon. Bo Nix played terrible in this game. He had guys open. Oregon liked to – they started the game off with, I think, 3 wheel routes to the running backs. They couldn't even complete them. One was a bad ball. The other one was covered slightly well. And then the third one, I think Bo Nix overthrew it. And it went out of bounds. So, but I'm just looking at Oregon's stats. They're up to 139 yards rushing. Dang. But again, a lot of these yards coming in on garbage time. Oregon only had 40 yards rushing in the first half when it was 28-3. So, I mean, come on now. But yeah, what else should we talk about in this game? I mean, Georgia just completely dominated from start to finish. As of right now, the game is still going on. I guess it's kind of annoying that I started this early. As of right now, Georgia has 568 total yards. 568. Ridiculous. 439 yards passing. I want to know. I want to know anybody who was down on Todd Monken and thought he was overrated. I really want to know their thoughts right now because this is as elite as you can get. 30 of 37. This is combining the 2 QBs. 30 of 37 for 439 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, I get it, the 2 touchdown passes, but Georgia was moving the ball at will. And, you know, Dan Lanning's one of the most knowledgeable defensive minds in college football. He's honestly a top 10 DC, top 5, honestly. You know, he's up there with Kirby Smart, but he had no game plan ready for this offense, which is kind of surprising because he went against it almost every week. But, yeah, Georgia dominated. Offensive line played really, really, really well. Defensive line struggled at times. I'm not going to lie, but good enough to win this game. And Georgia plays next week. And let me ask you guys this question. You guys think Georgia's going to go 12-0? I had Georgia going 11-1. I'm not going to lie, in the offseason. I'm not a hater. You know, I'm a Georgia fan, but I honestly wasn't expecting this well of an offensive performance from UGA. We're 2 deep pretty much at every position at wide receiver. Our running backs played really, really well. We're just a really well-coached team with all the talent. Georgia's definitely a top 3 team. But looking at our schedule ahead, who do we play? Sanford next week. Is that a noon game? No, it's a 4 p.m. game, I think. It's either a noon or 4 p.m. game. So Georgia should win that one by relatively 50, 60 points. Could be over overdoing that. But I mean, if they could beat Oregon by 40 points, come on. Then we go on the road at South Carolina. We still have not seen South Carolina yet. I think South Carolina is going to be a really, really, really good team this year. Their schedule's insane. They have probably the hardest schedule in the entire country, or one of, if not, like I said, the hardest. We play Kent State. I actually go to Kent State, so that's kind of funny. At Missouri. So really, if we're being realistic here, our toughest games come after our bye. You know, we play Florida and Jacksonville, Tennessee right after that game, at Mississippi State, which actually is the game I thought Georgia would lose, and then at Kentucky, and then Georgia Tech, who's terrible. Georgia Tech is terrible. They only have like 6 or 7 returning starters. Like, I'm not even kidding. Their head coach will be gone by halfway through the season. They're going to lose to Clemson by 100 points. I don't know. But anyway, I think Georgia should go 12-0. After this performance, it's really hard to find a loss. You know, it's only week 1. We've seen Tennessee. Tennessee looked very, very good, in my opinion, on what was it? They played Thursday. Missouri is Missouri. Missouri covered. Shout out to Missouri. They covered the spread against Louisiana Tech. I actually took Louisiana Tech in the 19.5. Missouri blew them out. Vandy, shout out to Vandy. Vandy covered. Heck, the entire SEC East covered the spreads today. See if Florida can do it tonight. Florida plays in 20 minutes. I have Florida winning that game, so if I'm right, the entire SEC East would cover for week 1. Shout out to that. And then who we get on the West? We get Auburn. Haven't seen them play yet, but I'm not expecting Auburn to be that good. And then at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a weird team. I'm just going to be honest, and I'll be trying to keep this completely unbiased. I don't think Georgia's going to lose a game. The play calling offensively is as good as any other team in the country, including Ohio State's. We haven't seen Ohio State play, but I'm guaranteeing you Ohio State's going to have a top 3 offense. I mean, that's obvious. Look at that talent all over, all across the board. The depth chart, the offensive line, the quarterback, the running backs. They got multiple. Marvin Harrison, Jackson Smith, Njigba, whoever else you can throw in there for Ohio State. Fleming, the other 5-star from last year, Ngugba, can't really say his name, but Ohio State, we'll see them tonight. But yeah, Georgia, man, 49-3. Here we go. It's actually 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. So we'll see if Oregon can actually get a touchdown with a minute left. Bo Nix, here we go. They're at the 2-yard line. Snaps. It's a pick play, looking underneath, throws to it, all incomplete. Georgia will take over. So Georgia will win 49-3. Let's go. What an absolute complete, utter domination. And people are going to be talking about this game all season. I'll be telling you that much. Unless Oregon's very, very bad, which I don't think Oregon's going to be that bad. I think I was a little bit too high on Oregon. I'll get to the comments too in a second. But I think I was a bit too high on Oregon. Again, it's one game. But wow, their defense played absolutely terrible. Missing a lot of tackles too. Week 1, you try to give teams passes for missed tackles because it is week 1, but still, I mean, they had like 20 in this game. I'm not even kidding. So let me get to the comments. Georgia is a force to be reckoned with this year. Agreed. Man, Georgia looks elite across the board. Defensive line, again, I wasn't super impressed with, but again, got some pressure, no sacks. It is Bo Nix. He runs around a lot. I'm taking, I'm trying to take everything into account. 0 sacks. Rush defense played really well in the first half. Second half, I mean, gave up 100 yards. We actually gave up 100 yards even in the second half. Rushing, again, you're up by 30 points, so who cares as much? They need to let those third thing. Carson Beck played. Oregon just ran the entire clock out. So Kirby's visor is here. I tried to tell you all off season. I think I was pretty confident Georgia was going to win this game. I wasn't expecting this. I don't think many people were. And if you were, hats off to you. I don't think there are many people that believe Georgia was 46 points better than Oregon. 46. And I will say this, though. There were a lot of people picking Oregon to win the game simply because Oregon beat Ohio State last year. So there's also that. Ohio State's front seven played pretty bad in their three biggest games. Regular season wise, Minnesota, Oregon, and Michigan. They lost 2 out of 3 of those games. Ohio State's defense last year was not terrible. It was average. The problem was in their biggest games, their front seven got destroyed. If we're being real, and they honestly should have lost to Minnesota if it wasn't for Ibrahim getting hurt. But anyway, that's the only reason why people thought Oregon would win this game. It had nothing to do with they thinking Oregon's better than Georgia. So, but anyway, ugly from start to finish. Not a good look for the Ducks. Yeah, and I'm gonna be real, guys. Oregon is gonna be a top 25 team this year. So if we're doing that to a top 25 team, look out, everyone else. That's all I gotta say. This is an overreaction. Georgia's just that good. Oregon isn't good. Again, it is week 1, and Georgia just played them. So again, come back to me in October. I'm telling you, just look at Oregon's schedule. Oregon's not going to be terrible. They do play BYU. I think they'll probably beat BYU, honestly, at Washington State. So by the time October 1st comes around, I think they'll be 3-1. They'll play Stanford. The Pac-12 just I haven't really been impressed with any Pac-12 team I've seen so far. So Oregon's going to be winning 8 or 9 games this year in the regular season. Maybe 10 if they fix things defensively and obviously offensively, but Georgia's defense is going to be top 10 anyway. Oregon will not have to face a team like Georgia ever again this season, unless they somehow make the playoffs and play Georgia, Ohio State, or Alabama. Somehow. I don't see that happen. I'm sorry. Dan Lanning, yeah. I think Lanning is a rookie coach, and it's obvious. Well, yeah, I mean, was his first game. Oh, wow, look at but it was his first game. I thought he would have a better game plan coming in. I knew he wasn't going to try to run the ball on UGA because no one usually can, okay, if we're being honest. But I thought he would have more misdirection plays, more help Bo Nix out, Heck, even more design quarterback keepers. I don't know, Oregon was moving the ball. They just couldn't do anything after they got past the 50. So Bo Nix just I thought they were gonna let, and this is a bad thing. This is one thing I don't understand from Dan Lanning. I thought they were gonna let Ty Thompson come in. Ty Thompson was a heavily recruited. I think he was a 5-star. I'm pretty sure he was a highly rated 4-star at the least of it. Got offers to everywhere. Chose Oregon. Got some playing time last year. Didn't really do a lot because, he was a freshman. But I thought after it was 35-3, Dan Lanning was going to move on from Bo Nix and let Ty Thompson throw the ball around. Ty Thompson got 0 reps. Again, maybe he's just protecting him for the future. I could understand that a little bit, I guess, because Georgia's defense plays absolutely physical and hard. So maybe he's just maybe if you're an Oregon fan, you might see him next week against Eastern Washington. I think you got to put him in. I don't know. That's what I would have went with. But anyway, outside. D wasn't ready or out of position. Oh yeah. So I really expected Oregon to have a great defense this year. Again, it's only week 1. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, they were out of position. They looked gassed. They looked confused. Todd Monken, you can give Todd Monken a lot of pressure, or a lot of the credit there because of his misdirection. He spreads the entire field. If you're able to do that, especially with the Georgia athletes, it's going to be hard to stop. It's going to be hard to stop UGA. But all of Oregon's secondary played terrible. For being honest, the linebackers didn't even play good. Justin Flo didn't really. I mean, he made some plays. Didn't really hear much of his name today. Sewell, right? They have Sewell. Did he play? I mean, again, these really, really, really good athletic 5-star recruits to Oregon didn't really do anything today. Which, hey. That is a push if I've ever seen one. South Carolina will beat UGA if they are healthy by then. There's not much I could see from South Carolina that would make me believe this. Anything even close. I would pick Georgia. The spread to this South Carolina game is probably going to be Georgia minus 22. Maybe I doubt it would be in the high 20s. Somewhere around that. I would take Georgia in the points, unless it's like Georgia minus 30 or something. I understand William Bryce is kind of a tough place to play, but South Carolina's program isn't where it needs to be in order for me to believe this. So I will absolutely disagree with that. I want to, but I almost feel I don't know what that's from, but hey. Bo Nix has a good name, and that's about it. Average Bo, enough said. Yeah, Bo Nix played pretty bad today. Again, I mean, this is what he does. I hate to say this is what he does against UGA. And Oregon has a really solid offensive line, though. This is the best offensive line he's ever played with. So, and he still can't really do much. I will say his wide receivers are not great. He's got a lot of athletes. That's really all I can say about Oregon, offensively wise. But yeah, Bo Nix played terrible. I think we already been over that. Let's see what else we got here. Sad for a Duck fan like me because Ty Thompson hasn't shown anything in practice. From what I've heard, it really wasn't so much of a quarterback battle, which leads me to believe that maybe Ty Thompson isn't ready, which I guess could be obvious, but yeah, we'll see. I think Ty Thompson should play next week, especially if Oregon's beating Eastern Washington by like 30, 40 points. If you're an Oregon fan, it sucks. I can tell you this much. It sucks. Georgia hasn't lost like this since what? I'll even throw in the Ole Miss game, 2016. We went on the road, noon game to Ole Miss, lost 45-14, got absolutely humiliated. And this was to an Ole Miss team that defense was giving up like 30-something points per game and like 200 yards rushing per game. And Georgia finished under 100 yards rushing and with 14 points. So that's how I'd probably feel. I mean, 45-14 is a little bit better than 49-3, but that's how I would personally feel about that. But again, it's only week 1, and you may have just played the best team in the country. Again, it's week 1. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And then this right here, hard to keep UGA out of number 1. I agree with this. The problem is we haven't seen Ohio State play. Alabama could beat Utah State 70-0, and I would still personally pick UGA. And I don't want to be biased, but would pick Georgia over Alabama for that number 1 spot. I got to see Ohio State first, and maybe somehow Notre Dame is really, really, really good. But again, I got to see Ohio State play first. But I agree, it's after this, it's really hard to see Georgia not being at least number 2. Georgia going 11-1. That's what I said preseason wise. I don't really think Georgia's going to lose a game. Even at Georgia's worst, Georgia offensively played their best game. Defensively, we gave up 3 points. I would give Georgia's defense an A-. Obviously, we could have played better. And you could say that about our rush game, but I'm giving Georgia's offense an A+. Because the pass game, you couldn't really do much better passing the football. So if anyone thinks we could have done any more, I don't know what else there is to say. Todd Monken called an elite game. But anyway, I think Georgia goes 12-0 now. I will change my prediction. And Eric talks trash on Michigan. Oh. Bama is better than last year. We'll see. Pac-12 is still bad. Ducks are, yeah, I agree with this. I think Oregon goes 9-3. I had y'all at 10-2. Again, I thought your defense would play much better than what it did today, and your defense is going to be much better than what it was today. So, again, you just played a really, really, really good team, an elite team that just won a national title that has something to prove again this year. I don't know why people talk bad about UGA. I don't understand it. Every season, it's something new. This year, it was, Oregon's going to beat Georgia because Georgia lost 7 starters and 8 players defensively. And Oregon also beat Ohio State last year. So there was that. But it's something new every week. But anyway, we have a young defense. That is true. That's what I'm saying. That's why first half, we were giving up yards. But finished the game-wise, Georgia gave up 300 yards to Oregon. So I can't really be mad about that. Oregon was a very inconsistent team offensively last year. But they were still getting over, I think they were close to, 400-something yards per game. So that's just last year. I know they lost a bit, but hey, Oregon finished with 313 yards. That's pretty good to hold them to 3 points with that. But anyway. Let's see what else we got here. Congrats on back to – oh, my goodness. You don't get way too and then Oregon fans are really – I feel bad for a lot of Oregon fans because people just hate UGA and they will say whatever they want about Georgia. But anyway, anytime your coach leaves for another job, it's a red flag. He knows what he has or doesn't have. Not sure about that. You guys are recency bias. Oregon is the same team we knew. I don't know. Anyway. No, I definitely – this is an overreaction. I already told you guys. I do expect Oregon to be a top 25 team this year. I think they'll go 9-3. Their schedule really is not that tricky. Their hardest game outside of Georgia is Utah, and they get Utah at home. It's really hard to play on the road at Oregon. I'll tell you that much. Their second trickiest game is at home against UCLA. Okay? Their road games are really not that bad. I mean, you do have to play in the Civil War against Oregon State. Do you guys still call it that? I don't think you do. I probably shouldn't say that. You also have to play at Washington State. I'm going to be real. I know a lot of people are high on BYU. I am not high on BYU at all. I think BYU is incredibly overrated. I think Oregon will take care of business against BYU. Isn't BYU struggling right now? But anyway, Oregon not beating Wazoo. You guys don't know our history. Well, I know you guys actually did do struggle with Washington State, but that was under Mike Leach. Since the new coaches. Oh, have you? Have you lost to Washington State since Leach has been gone? I don't think you have. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway. Oh, Oh, you do call it the Civil War. Okay. I thought they got rid of that name for some reason. Something is off with T.Y. Oh, Ty. Okay, Ty Thompson. So I'm really behind. Anyway. I'm trying to find all these comments. Won't let me. Oh, I got it. Anyway, well, I decipher that. What else? The last thing I'll talk about, really. What's next for UGA? Well, a lot of wins. I don't want to sound cocky, but looking at Georgia's schedule, it's backloaded. We play our toughest games in the last 4 games of the year, or last part of the season. After our bye, play Florida, Tennessee, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky. That is a tough 4-week span. That's tough for anybody. Most teams would probably go 2-2 in that span, maybe 3-1. I think Florida is better than what people think. But hey, at that point in time, I bet you Georgia would be 7-0 unless something gravely dangerous happens and something completely off happens to UGA. But I think, but yeah. Stetson will break Aaron Murray's passing records. And man, I haven't talked to Visor in so long. Kirby's Visor. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. He makes great graphics for a lot of UGA players and coaches too. But yeah, Stetson, man. I mean, he did this really in 1 half, which is insane. Well, 1 half and 1 drive. He did this in 5 drives. 5 drives, went 5 for 5 on third downs, threw 2 touchdowns, rushed for 1. I mean, it's just insane what he did. He had 368 yards. Jeez. But yeah. Guys, anything else that we could really talk about in this game? Someone said something about Miami. I'll tell you this. Miami is back. They're beating Bethune-Cookman 70-13. Miami's got a real big test at Texas A&M. I don't know if they can win that one. Texas A&M struggled today offensively. Played Sam Houston State. I was a little bit disappointed with Texas A&M's, or with Haynes King, really. He didn't play terrible. His decision-making is what ticks a lot of people off. He threw 2 terrible interceptions today. That made no sense. It's his IQ that needs to be tweaked. But Miami's got a big test there, so we'll see. We'll see about that. Let's see. You think Graham Mertz will come out to play today? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If Graham Mertz is a decent QB, Wisconsin's winning their division at 10-2. If he's a good quarterback, they will compete with every Big Ten team, including Ohio State. They have a good enough offensive line. Their defense should be good. It's always relatively top 10. They have an outstanding rush defense every single season. So, or they can pull what Iowa did today and score 7 points on 2 safeties and a field goal. Iowa might be the worst team in the Big Ten, and I'm serious. I don't even want to talk about that. But can't give Statavius Bennett too much credit. Oregon's DBs are the youngest / interference we've ever had, but they are still very talented. Also, you got to give them credit. The play calling is where I'm giving most of the credit, as well as the athletes Georgia has, as well as Stetson Bennett making the right decisions and reads, even though they were honestly right in front of him. But even how about that touchdown that he threw to Ladd McConkey? He was about to get sacked 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He shakes off three Oregon not D linemen, linebackers. They were all linebackers. and throws a perfect pass to Lad McConkey, who's wide open. But anyway, I do give him credit. Utah beats Florida 38-27. I don't think so. I'm going to be honest, guys. I got Florida winning this game. I think Florida's athletes will be the difference in this game. Anthony Richardson has fallen off the radar for some reason. He's going to have a really, really good season. I think Florida's going to win 8 games this year. Sunbelt Billy, as our favorite man would put it, is a very good head coach. So we'll see. Florida still has a lot of talent. Defensively, they have one of the best defensive lines in the country. That's not even debatable. They're top 10. They also have Brenton Cox. I think Diabate, didn't he transfer to Utah? So that's kind of funny. But also in the Swamp, is that game about to kick off? I'm gonna have to go see that. But yeah, don't make excuses for Oregon. We were young on defense as well, and look how we play. Hashtag go Dogs. Oh yeah, you're right about that. It was just Dan Lanning has a lot to learn as a head coach. Allegations: empty new stadium rolled by Arizona. Oh yeah. Yeah, San Diego State got destroyed, I heard. Y'all let what was it, Delora transfer from Wazoo throw for how many yards on you? You guys got destroyed. But it doesn't really matter. Shout out to the Canes, the 170-13. Miami is a team to look out for this year. What else is there? If Florida fans can hold out for 2 to 3 years, they could have they couple be a decent program again. I would agree with that. Problem with Florida is they're on a cycle with every coach. Started with Will Muschamp. They started, they go 7-5. I think that's what they went. 6-6, 7-5, something like that. Next year they go 11-1, have one of the best defenses of all time, but no offense. Ended up losing to UGA 17-9. They go and they lose to Louisville in the Sugar Bowl by like 20 points. It was 33-23, but that game was not close. And then they go 4-8. Fire him, bring in another coach. McElwain goes 9-4, 10-4, right? Or like 9-4 again, and then 4-7. Fire him, bring in Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen has 2 really good seasons. And then 2020 happened where he actually beat UGA and fell apart. And ever since the game, the LSU game, he finishes his career at Florida 6-9. And oh, by the way, he's fired. And here comes Billy Napier. So Florida is on a weird cycle where they're doing the same thing every 3 years, hiring and firing coaches. But it is what it is. But yeah, I want to see Florida today. I actually think Florida is going to win. I'm not saying Utah is bad. I just think the atmosphere at Florida is going to be really, really tough, as well as the athletes for Florida are going to be just a little bit too much. That's my opinion. Was quite surprised, but not shocked that San Diego. Oh, well, damn. But anyway, like I don't want to hear that Oregon was overrated and they're not. Yeah, I didn't think Oregon was overrated. I actually had Oregon going 10-2, so maybe I actually had them number 9 in my preseason poll. But yeah, that's really it for the day. Got a big game next week against Samford. So hopefully everyone will be ready for that one. I'm just kidding. But after that, we go on the road against South Carolina. That's a noon game. Got to see how South Carolina plays today. If South Carolina, especially Spencer Rattler, looks really, really good, this South Carolina team should be relatively good. They could be borderline top 30 for the season. Their schedule is insane. If South Carolina, though, like I said, if they can find an offense, they'll be pretty good this year, and they'll be tough every single week. Arkansas looks like they're going to take care of business against Cincinnati. Texas A&M, they didn't cover. By the way, Texas A&M is the only SEC team that has not covered. So that's a letdown. Thank you, Texas A&M, for that. I saw someone blaming it on the weather. I guess you can. They just look sluggish offensively all day. Haynes King's got to get something going there. It was really more of the offensive line. The offensive line was a letdown for Texas A&M. How do you have all this depth at offensive line, especially offensive guard, and because they recruit really, really well at guard and center, and rush for 100 yards or 97 yards on Sam Houston State. Don't even tell me Sam Houston State was, an FCS national champion. Congratulations. But anyway, there's no point for that. But hey, Georgia wins big today, 49-3. Absolute domination. Humiliating for Dan Lanning, his first ever game. He's got a lot to learn. Georgia's offensive line completely dominated the game. Georgia's defensive line played well. By the way, this is probably the toughest offensive line Georgia will play all year. I don't think Kentucky's will be as good. Got Kentucky. Tennessee's is getting better. It's not great. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with this being the toughest offensive line that Georgia plays all year. And I'm talking about regular season. So, but Georgia's defensive line, as young and as talented as we are, we did relatively well. Our defense as a whole did relatively well. Gave up 3 points. You can't complain about that. Who cares about the yards? Gave up 313 yards. We gave up 3 points, got that fourth down stop with our second string defensive players. Second and third string guys came in, stopped Bo Nix at the goal line. So Georgia looks like the best team in the country right now. It is week 1. And, hey, we haven't seen Ohio State or Bama play, or maybe there's another wild card team that I don't know about that could be number 1. But, yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, sticking around for this past almost an hour. Go Dogs. Go SEC. The SEC is kicking ass right now when it comes to spread. I think we're 10-1 against the spread, or 8-1, 9-1, something like that. Just saying, if you don't bet SEC, what are you doing? Well, actually, Ole Miss is about to make it 8-2 unless they score a touchdown, which they're not going to. So there you go. SEC is 8-2 against the spread. SEC East is undefeated right now against the spread. That could change. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week after the Samford game. But go Dogs, baby.